if I've never had those experience, I would probably still be cocky and the know-it-all kind of guy.
Yeah. When it comes down to anything that you're doing, it's really all about knowing yourself.
Yeah.
You kind of have to learn from your mistakes, grow from it, reflect, and then from there, that's when you kind of build up your own personal development.
Yeah,
right?
but the thing is, I don't. Even at my age now, I'm 45. I don't feel content. Like I don't feel like I know the answers to everything, especially to life, especially to my values. For example, I think it's still evolving.
Right. I mean, it has to, right?
Yeah, seems like it.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. This is actually something that I've always wondered. I mean, like I think so. I mean, like for me, like I just got into a career, right? And so I graduated in 2018. I'm still, of course, figuring out my way in terms of how I can create more value to the company and everything else. But when I see how fast I've grown, in a sense that when I look at myself now, and then I picture myself like a few years ago, even I think to myself, I'm like, why did you make those decisions? Why did you do these things? Like even when it comes to building up Menos, I was like, man, if I was the way I was back then, there's no way I would have done those things, right? Like, I don't even know why. So then, does it get better over time in a sense that when you look back in yourself maybe 4 years ago, do you still think to yourself, like, I should have done those things? Or is it like, oh yeah, I'm kind of happy with where I was 4 years ago, and then like I'm glad I made those decisions at that time, and it gets better over time? Because like I think when you talk about growth, it's in a way with humans especially, it's quite exponential in a sense that you get there's a certain point in time where you go quite fast, but then also at the end of the day, you're gonna learn more.
Yeah.
You kind of also perhaps reach that like kind of slower growth, and then so I was just curious in terms of like your own personal experience, like when I see myself before, it's not that I don't regret it, but what I mean is like at that point in time I wouldn't make those decisions. Is that similar to what you're feeling now?
There are 2 points. First of all, the way I see it is that we don't grow like in a straight line exponentially,
Right.
but more as more of a like probably
Up and down, right? Like a
up
stock,
and down roller coaster, and then sometimes you just plateau
Correct,
a little
yeah,
bit.
I agree.
Sometimes you climb up again,
Right,
and
right.
at least that's my experience.
Right.
And then the second thing is that sometimes you make the same mistakes. Well, everybody has an inherent psychological tendencies, maybe. Yeah. For example, I'm introvert, so my decisions are more or less will be affected by that. So sometimes there's a problem and I solve it this way, and it might not be the best way to solve that problem, but maybe in another time I'm encountering kind of similar problem, I may make the same mistakes. But that's okay. I mean, we always have to try to improve and to analyze our mistakes, basically, so that we can, minimize the same thing happening over again. But like Abi said, I don't really have any regrets because I think all the decisions that I took, it was based on my best understanding of that problem, and I think I took the best way of solving that problem with a given set of facts and my own experience.
Right.
Yeah. Interesting. And yeah, Pak Berry, it seems over here there's like 2 teams, right? The first one you mentioned about making mistakes is fine. And then the second bit is about making sure you actually learn from your mistakes.
Sure.
But even like on that second point, like knowing that you actually made a mistake requires reflection, right? Sure. So maybe can you walk us through like an example of a mistake that you've done, whether it's within the realms of career planning, right, or finding the right career, and what do you actually do to make sure that you set up the right checkpoints for yourself to reflect and to make sure that you learn from this mistake and you never do it again? Could you maybe share a little story to us?
Let me think of one. All right, probably one thing. When I was young, I was probably too ambitious and too cocky or too arrogant. I climbed up corporate ladder quite quickly at the time, so I was like that new kid on the block, like the know-it-all guy. Like this guy, U.S. graduates, and he seems to like very confident and know everything. So I think it got in the way, and I wasn't willing. I think my dad told me that I don't remember how exactly he phrased it, but even though when you're right, you don't really have to tell everybody that you're right. So as long as you can direct, for example, when there's a group discussion, for example, you don't have to tell those guys like, I told you so, So, but let the team understand the mistakes, or at least, or for me, I understand the mistakes, and then I redirect from that. So when I was young, I was probably too arrogant or too cocky, so I get into a fight with basically my boss quite a lot. So yeah, typical, young guys, know it all kind of thing. Maybe I was right, maybe I was wrong, but there are better ways of doing it. Better ways of pushing your ideas, maybe better way of standing your ground even. But I didn't know it back then. So yeah, those kind of things. But like I said, I don't have any regrets because it was me at the time, and I am becoming what I am now because I learned from those experiences. If I've never had those experiences, I would probably still be cocky and the know-it-all kind of guy.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like I think at the end of the day, there was a time in my life. I mean, like I can't speak for everyone, but there's definitely my time in my life where I also felt like, like that's not the kind of guy I want to be. So of course, there'll be phases of that, like certain points in time. But I think another interesting point is that when we're talking about growth, is it something that gets faster or slower over the years that you've seen? Because it seems like you're also a very big advocate or a very big believer in personal development, right? Yeah. And then so for you personally, I guess like when you look at your life, let's say your early 20s or even before that up until now,
a lot of things to learn when I was young, and even still now, I'm still have a lot of things to learn, because like I said, when you're in SD, for example, you get a SD level test. When you're in high school, you get high school level test. So same thing in life. When I was young, my tests are like looking for a job, getting accepted by my friends, things like that. But when I'm at my age now, I have a different kind of test, basically. As you know, I'm now married. I have 3 kids, supposedly, but my middle child he passed away while he was in the womb. So so now my eldest son is in med school, and my youngest son is in junior high school. So that's a different set of challenges again. How to communicate to your teenagers. Those teenage phase. Like, or my parents are like, they don't understand me, things like that. So I was treating my youngest one still as a baby. He doesn't like me kissing him, like hugging him. And I'm now trying to evolve into like I have to treat him like a young adult now. And all kinds of problems pop up along the way in life, and you don't get any slower learning from experiences and finding your values and stuff like that. So it doesn't get any slower for me.